All right, folks, as we already know, I am an ultra marathon runner. I am a trail runner. I spend an awful lot of time and effort trying to figure out how to keep myself safe. And being a runner, it all starts from the ground up. As you can see, I'm not wearing any shoes nor socks right now. We are going to talk a little bit about barefoot running. We are going to talk a little bit about training barefoot and some different strategies to really help maybe keep you safe while you're training for your next race. Now, let me be clear about something. I am not suggesting that you run barefoot. I am suggesting that you drill barefoot. I think that there's a lot of great running drills that you can perform by using the natural composition of your feet as it relates to your body. And something I want to talk about right off the bat in those regards is this element that your feet, try to think of each of your feet as its own tripod, its own independent acting tripod. And I want you to think as the balls of your feet as having, you know, that two-prong part of the tripod, and then the heel would be the third piece. Now, if you have a structure like this, it's going to be much more stable. And if you take a look at my feet right now, you can see as I go up onto my toes, I'm pretty stable. I can go pretty high. This is a pretty easy thing for me to do. And then as I rock back, I land comfortably, nicely, and softly. And likewise, or conversely, if I lean back onto my heels, I can do it, but it's definitely not as stable. My knees buckle back, and it's much more difficult for me to do this. So if you're at home and you want to, if you want to take off your shoes, you don't have to take your socks off, you know, but if you want to take off your shoes and give that little drill a shot, you know, I think you'll kind of feel what I'm talking about. So a lot of the great runners around the world, you know, in all countries, they will drill and they will train without any shoes on. Again, I'm not recommending that you run out and go buy some zero-drop barefoot shoes, but what I am saying is that these people, they do this. And one of the reasons why they do that is because your natural body composition will allow you to land safely on the ground. And the example that I often use, and I would caution you know, you from actually trying this, but if I were to think to myself, I'm going to jump into the air and I'm going to land directly on my heels, even the thought of that kind of scares me. So just leave that at a thought, right? And what I want you to instead do, if you are at home and you do have your shoes off and you're ready to do this thing, is I just want you to march in place, right? So if you march in place, and I want you to be mindful of how your feet feels when they're touching the ground, okay? Most of the time, you're going to find that the balls of your feet are striking the ground first, and then your heel will then follow suit as it gracefully falls to the ground, right? So now take the same approach and jog in place. You can even see how my feet land slightly pronated, coming to the outside just slightly, and then that heel gracefully lands on the ground. This to me represents very good running form. I'm not saying it's the only running form. I know that there's plenty of athletes out there that are great runners. They land, their heel strikes the ground, known as a heel striker, which is just a slang term in the running world, known as a heel striker, and some people think this is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if you wake up the next morning and your knees are swollen out to about here. Then it might be a bad thing and you might want to take a look at it. What I'm talking about here is the gross majority of people. So I would say 80% of the runners can benefit from doing this little running drill of being barefoot or without shoes and just jogging in place. And you might even want to jog down to the end of the hall and jog back, or maybe if you have a yard or something like that. But just a few meters both ways, you know, just so you can kind of get a feel for what that feels like. Now, as I said before, I spend an awful lot of time, a lot of effort going into what types of shoes to put on my feet. you know, because I run, you know, 50-kilometer races, I run 50-mile races. I'm on my feet running over these jagged edge trails for a lot of hours, you know, 8, 10, 12, 24 hours, you know, a lot of times. So of course I'm going to put something that I trust on my feet. And what I have come to recognize as a great product are the Altra Running shoes. Now the shoe that we've brought on set today is the Altra, they're trail running shoes, and they're the Altra 1.5 Lone Peaks. And they're right here. I got them in beautiful fire engine red. And this is a wonderful shoe, brought to you by a wonderful company. And you know, Altra is a proud sponsor of TriJake Fitness as well. And I always tell people this, you know, there's no way I would ever preach anything about a product that I didn't use and believe in. I think that's a very important part. These are actually my shoes. You can see they're a little dirty from the trails themselves. Happen to really like the little barefoot on the bottom of the shoe. And if you're going to be running mountains, you may as well have a shoe that has a mountain on it, don't you think? So Altra, A-L-T-R-A. These are the Lone Peak 1.5s. They're a new version. And a few things separates Altra from other shoe companies, or other shoe products rather. And probably the most notable, the most famous amongst runners is going to be the Widened Toe Box, which is right down through here. And let me tell you something, my friends, right now. If you don't notice anything else the first time you try a pair of Altra running shoes on, you will notice how easy and comfortable your downhill runs will become. Not only your downhill runs, but also leaping from rock to rock. I actually feel safer on the trails when I wear this shoe. It has a nice wide base in it, gives you plenty of traction. You can see how these are almost like golf cleats, you know, if you really take a look at them. And the other big difference between Altra running shoes and other running shoes is you can see here on the back of the shoe where it says 0 drop, meaning that there is 0 drop from heel to toe, which allows a runner like me who has found a midfoot strike to be most beneficial as well as efficient to do my little running drill here in these shoes and really get a feel for a natural running stride. These 1.5 Lone Peaks also feature a carbon plate that goes underneath here. It's carbon fiber, so it's very, you know, it's very light. It's easy to get around with. And what that does is that protects, you know, people like me who are out on the trails. It protects us from stones and roots and things that we come across. And probably the last feature that we're just going to talk about is this Velcro strip here that comes down on the back of the shoe. And if you're a trail runner, you know what this is for. And if you're not, I'm going to tell you what this is for. That is for your gaiters, to keep any sort of gravel, rocks, you know, dirt, anything that might get into your shoes. You know, if you wear other types of shoes, you know you have to usually stick one of those sticky Velcro things on the back of your shoe. They're always falling off. And, you know, with this, it's built right in. So you can tell that this shoe was really designed by people that know what they're talking about. They run trails often. And, you know, since running in Altra products, I must say that my feet are happier post-run. My feet are happier during the run. And I have less fear of, you know, running down steep trails than I did before. And that's huge. That's huge. Anything that allows me to enjoy my runs better, I am a big fan of. So these are the Altra Lone Peak 1.5s. You're going to want to check out more Altra products again at TriJake.com. If you go to my products page, you'll be able to link to ultrarunning.com, or just check them out. They're a great company, and they have a whole lot to offer. So that's about all the time we have for today. So remember to run happy, remember to eat healthy, and remember to always move forward, my friends. I thank you so much for your support, especially from the town of Wellesley. You know, business is good and it just keeps growing. So you can reach out to me at trijake.com. You can shoot me an email at jake@trijake.com. You can follow me on Twitter. You can like my Facebook page. I'm always doing fun and exciting stuff. I try to make fitness as accessible as I possibly can to you and your family. Fitness is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And here in Wellesley, we think that it's community as well.